Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning, and welcome to a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. I want to thank Sean Kelly, voice of the Gators, the current voice of the Gators, for our introduction today. It's Tuesday. That means we'll have Buddy Martin here momentarily. I think Buddy overslept a little bit. We'll also, second portion of today's program, we'll have Minde O'Sullivan, First Lady of Gator Baseball, talk about her foundation she started last year, Rex and Brody Foundation. They have a big event coming up. Give you all the good information and all the good things that they're doing with that. You missed it last night. Some sad stuff, man. Aaron Rodgers, you'd be sleeping on a rock if you didn't know this, goes down on the fourth play of the game. Looks like a torn Achilles. I don't know why they did x-rays. You don't x-ray an Achilles injury. I guess they were hoping for the best, but it looks like he's done for the year, and they win the game in overtime with a punt return. So the Jets go 1-0. My man Josh Allen played terrible last night, forcing a lot of balls. So we'll have Buddy here in just a second. Take your question, calls, and comments. We got a lot of Facebook Lives here. Andy says, Shane, are you adding Josh Allen to your list with A&M and teams and players you were done with? Oh, no. Josh Allen's he's elite. Just had a bad game. Forced too many balls. One kid had all three interceptions. Number 3, I don't know his name for the Jets. Jets wore the throwback uniforms and got them a win. Daniel says, good morning, Shane. I hope Florida defense will play Saturday like the Jets did last night. Well, the Jets have a premier defense in the National Football League. Dan says, old Smokey, if you see Smokey back there, I love Smokey. It's going to be sad Saturday night. Let's hope so. But as y'all know, during football season, I like to put up my backdrop of our opponents. Gotta like Smokey, though. That's a good mascot. I'm anxious to – I love this game because, like I said, I love Rocky Top. I love it when the fans sing it. I like the checkerboard, all that stuff, the overalls, the hillbillies rolling into town. Should be a lot of fun. While we're waiting on Buddy, let's get to the Titan MR text line. Somebody from the 408 area code just says he loves the show, or it could be her. I don't know. There was an email that I need to get to that came in over the weekend, and I meant to mention it yesterday. I'm going to pull it up right now. It comes from Brian. He says, Shane, a year ago, Sean Lewis was the head coach at Kent State, but he gave that up to be the offense coordinator at Colorado this year. If Coach Napier decides to hire an OC after this season, do you think Western Carolina head coach Kerwin Bell will be considered for the job, and would he take it if offered? That's a great question, Brian. Kerwin's one of my closest friends. I had about an hour conversation with him yesterday. They had a big win over Sanford this weekend. I seriously doubt it. Here's the reason. Kerwin has always been in charge of his program, the program he built at Trinity Catholic from the ground up. Then he took over at JU. Then he went to Valdosta State, won a national title, and he left there to go be OC for Charlie Strong at USF. And he says it's the worst thing he could have done because he wasn't in charge of everything. When you've always been in control, it's hard to work for other people. I don't see Kerwin doing that. I would love for it, but I don't see it happening at all. Brandon on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon, says, Shane, I'm flying into Chicago today. What's the best public course to play? Cog Hill. Oh, man, there's a bunch of them, Brandon. They ain't cheap either. Cog Hill's a good one, though, for sure. Joseph says, QB, our boy Josh Allen just can't. Josh Allen, he is so erratic in the pocket with the football sometimes. I don't know how he doesn't turn it over. He's a big, strong guy, but boy, is he a good player. Tim, USF has zero chance of beating Alabama. Just putting that out there. As I mentioned earlier, we're waiting on Buddy to join the program. He overslept. We got to get Buddy an alarm clock. And then second portion of today's program, we'll have Kevin O'Sullivan's wife, Minde, who her foundation, Rex and Brody, does tremendous things for youth baseball, softball teams all around the country. And they have a big fundraiser coming up September 29th in the Touchdown Terrace. As y'all know, the Gators host the Tennessee Vols this Saturday night, 7 o'clock in the Swamp. Everybody is expected to wear blue. So if you missed that memo or you've been not doing it for the last 40 years of your life, you wear blue when we play Tennessee. So that's it. I'm trying to get the voice of the Tennessee Vols, Bob Kessling, on our program for tomorrow or Friday. Hoping to do that, but if not, we'll get somebody that covers the Tennessee Vols to join us and talk about their program. This is not the same Tennessee team that you saw last year, people. Not even close. Not even close. So, all right, we got another text on the Titan MR text line. This comes from the 386 area code. It says, I heard some Bama fans saying they'll pay whatever it takes to get Manning's kids to transfer to Alabama. He was recruited heavily by those guys, but they ain't gonna do him any good this year.
He was recruited heavily by those guys.
Buddy Martin's here. Good morning, buddy. You get your cup of coffee? Set your alarm clock?
I never got one. I never got coffee.
Did you hit you hit the snooze multiple times this morning?
I'll tell you the story. When you hear the story, you'll know why, and it was legitimate, and you'll know it is a great story. Just so know that, okay? I'll tell you the story. And when I tell you, I get it, guy. I'm so sorry, Betty, for criticizing you for oversleeping. Although you had a world-class excuse, which I can't tell you about on the air because you're now humiliating me. I'm sorry, okay? Hey, listen, you had a Tennessee a guy on last night. You were on with him for half an hour. John Adams from the Knoxville News. Nobody knows more about Tennessee football than John Adams. You had a good conversation with him.
I did. Y'all must have stayed up late talking about the Vols.
I can tell you it wasn't about the Vols, okay? It was something more incredible than that. But I'll tell you about it later. All right.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. Buddy, it's Tennessee week. I don't know if you see my background, but I got old Smokey.
I see that. I see that hound, blue tick hound.
He's a good dog.
Yeah.
He, as they say, he's going to be sad Saturday night. What are your thoughts going into this game? How you feeling, buddy?
Shane, about the game or about life? Oh, okay. I'd like Florida's chances better than I certainly did a week ago. I think this game is so rich with tradition. Unfortunately, it hasn't been a rivalry that much. Tennessee people can't figure out why they've only beaten Florida twice in 51 years in Florida and Gainesville.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
It is unbelievable. And I love the Tennessee tradition. By the way, Doug Dickey had a lot to do with that. Do you know that? He had a lot. He had the checkerboard. He did all that when he was at Tennessee. The former Florida quarterback from P.K. Young, who was coach at Tennessee, brought all that tradition when he came there. So, I love that, the checkerboard end zones. And, of course, I love the year that Spurrier went up there, and just crushed him. Riedel Anthony, I remember talking to Bob Stoops about this. He was defensive coordinator at the time. And he said, it was remarkable that Riedel Anthony caught a touchdown pass, went up in the stands, did the Lambeau leap, and hugged the girl.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I still have it pictured in my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, this rivalry was enormous in the 90s.
Oh my gosh, it was the game. It was the best game of the country at one time.
Yeah, so many great players on both sides of the ball. Ollie has a question here on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. It says, Shane, how did Tennessee make the jump so quickly compared to UF? What's the difference? You got to remember, this is year 3, I believe, for Josh Heupel. First year didn't go so well. I don't even know if they had a winning record. Again, I put a lot of it on Hendon Hooker. I mean, he did not start Hendon Hooker at first. Had Joe Milton as a starter, benched Joe Milton, and Hendon Hooker took over. Just a phenomenal college football player now with the Detroit Lions. Again, this is only year 3, and we'll see. We'll see. So,
hey, Shane, let me put it in perspective for you, okay? Tennessee hasn't made the jump yet. When you win, and they're a good football team. Let's be honest. Heupel did a terrific job. I really thought they should have talked to him when he was leaving from UCF to make coaching changes. I really like the guy's pass game thoughts. I think he's a good detailed coach, and he did a terrific job last year. But you and John nailed it last night. You said to John that I thought was because they Hendon Hooker. Well, look at them this year. They just aren't that good. They really aren't. And I think John said the defense plays pretty well. But my point is, it has not been transformational. It certainly has been a revival of a program, and all credit due to Josh Heupel.
yeah. We had a couple people ask about the point spread. Just looked on my phone here. Tennessee 6.5. So we'll see. We'll see. Everybody talks about our cupcake last week. They had a cupcake last week. They've played nobody. We've played a very solid football team in Utah.
And a struggle. Remember John said they couldn't score against Stephen Austin, whatever it was. Could not Austin P, I guess it was. And they were not happy with their offense at all. They scored 30 points. And as John and I said, that's like a quarter score for that team last year.
Yeah. Dan says hanging at Calhoun's by the river near the stadium with all the boats is something
that's Vol Navy
in Knoxville.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's awesome for sure. Real quick, there was Pedro wants to know, how do I compare against the HBC in golf? There's no comparison, Pedro.
No, we're talking about a guy who used to have game and a guy who's got.
Yeah, he was a good player. I played him one time in college, which I didn't know what I was doing. He beat me barely, and then after that, when I went and played pro ball, and I started learning how to play the game and working on my game, I had to give coach a bunch of shots. So he was a good player back in the day, but.
By the way, Shane, backup quarterbacks always have low handicaps because that's what they play on. They play golf.
Almost all quarterbacks and kickers do.
Now,
I have some buddies that are friends of mine that are quarterbacks and kickers, and they stink, which is surprising. But so anyway, all right, buddy. So I'm going to ask you, because everybody asks me all the time, looking at this game Saturday night, what's the one thing that needs to happen for the Gators to win it, in your opinion?
Turnovers.
We haven't had a turnover yet this year. We haven't gotten any. We've turned it over twice.
I know. You gotta get some turnovers. I like a lot of things I saw against McNeese State. I know people say, hey, it's McNeese State. I get it, but I'm looking for how precision, how you hit people, how you square, how you get lined up correctly, and then make plays. I saw some guys closing on sacks with speed, which I really liked a lot. Now, I can't measure that against Tennessee yet, but obviously we have to March is going to have a good quarterback play. You say don't worry about the running game. You say fling it. I don't know about that yet, but the running backs have got to be a factor. The defense has got to make some plays. That's what I see, and I love the potential of Mertz throwing to those young receivers, especially Trey Wilson. So they got to get some breaks. So I think all that has to happen.
Text on the Titan More text line from Chris and Cottondale says, Shane, how do you think Tennessee will play us defensively? Will they stack the line to stop the run or drop into coverage, take away big plays, or will they be able to handle us up front and drop into coverage? What's your thoughts? I think Tennessee is going to do what they do early in the game. They're probably going to line up in their base defense and see if they can handle our run game. Depending on our formation, it's all a numbers game. I talk about it nonstop on this show. Depending on how you line up offensively, and then you look at the box, and if we have a run play and they have more in the box than we can block, we need to throw it, and vice versa. So I think Tennessee's just going to do what they do. And like I said on your show last night, buddy, hell, it'd be nice to come out, be aggressive, and jump on and get on top of them.
Yeah.
We had our first lead. Our first lead against McNeese State.
That's an incredible
since the South Carolina game last year.
Wow.
And I'll be damned, it'd be nice to be ahead of somebody for a change.
You make a great point, because one of the things Spurrier's teams did really well, and Urban's to some degree, was play with a lead early and take the game out, take them out of the game, put them away. And by halftime, they run the football and win the game, right, Shane? And that was the formula. Yeah, and you had some terrific players doing it that way. So I like the idea. I agree. Play from the lead. Let's go out and see if they can get 14 points and go ahead and play. And
because if you get ahead again, we've had a bunch of people here talk about stop Joe Milton. No. Joe Milton has fewer yards per attempt than our quarterback, and everybody's bitching about us not throwing it down the field. Here's the thing. Tennessee, if you go back and watch them, they are a run first football team. They want to run the football. So we have got to minimize and try to slow down their rushing attack. And we want Milton to throw the football because that is to our advantage. So that is the biggest key is our front 6 to 7, depending on how we're lined up defensively, slowing down and controlling the line of scrimmage and shutting their run game down. Chris on here, Shane, what are your most vivid memories of playing Tennessee? I didn't have a whole lot of great success against Tennessee. I mean, like I told you, those two teams back in the 90s, NFL first rounders everywhere. The one thing I remember about Tennessee the most is in 1992, we get clobbered up there in like a downpour. It was like Niagara Falls. Rain was coming down.
I was there.
The stadium steps so bad.
Yep.
The sidelines were flooded.
What they were.
But here's the thing. Our plane almost crashed coming home. We dropped like 15,000 feet and had to make an emergency landing in Atlanta.
Wow.
And Ellis Johnson would not get back on the plane after 2 hours of whatever they brought us a new plane. He never flew with the team again. So, buddy, that's the thing that stands out to me the most is that the Florida Gators plane came very close to crashing in 1992.
I remember that you brought it up. I know it wasn't the old Blue Goose. It was a charter. I can't remember.
Oh, no, it was a charter plane, and it was going like this.
Yeah, that is scary. I mean,
straight down.
Oh, wow. That is scary. There's some interesting things about this series, not the least of which is, as we talked last night with John. And by the way, John was agree with you 100% that guy is Tennessee's quarterback's a dink and dunk guy. You're right. He said you were right on that. But a lot of things have happened in games. Yesterday was 9/11. You almost forget 22 years ago. And it sounds almost selfish and insensitive to say it this way because of all the thousands of people who died in 9/11. But that game, I have no doubt, and John agreed, that game, postponing that game that year, probably cost Florida and Steve a national championship. Rex Grossman played brilliantly, if you remember him talking about it. He should have won the Heisman. They should have won that game, and they should have been playing for a championship because why, Shane? The game was postponed, was moved to the Swamp, the last game of the year after the FSU, and Tennessee ran the ball down Florida's throat, and Grossman got it back in the game, but they just couldn't close it. That was a significant point. A lot of interesting things are sidelights have happened in games that history will tell us, but you got to read history to know history, and you're absolutely right. That was a scary moment about the plane.
Yes, it was. Andy gets insider information from the opposing team. He said that the Vols had a players-only meeting on Sunday, and Milton blamed himself for lackluster performance against Austin Peay.
Good, so, he should have.
Yeah, so we gotta get after him. Radware is a family-owned business that prides itself in excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. Speaking with Buddy Martin here on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, second portion of today's program, we'll have Minde O'Sullivan, Kevin O'Sullivan's wife, talk about her big fundraiser event coming up at the Touchdown Terrace for the Rex and Brody Foundation. Buddy, we got a text here on the Titan Tomorrow text line for you. He says, Buddy, in your mind, did Steve Spurrier take too many shots at Phil Fulmer when he was coaching?
Yes, but that was part of the game. And it wasn't during the season. Remember that. He only did it in the spring to jerk the chain. Now, occasionally he engaged in one like at FSU, whatever. But no, that was a old fat Phil, as he was called, unfortunately.
Fat Phil.
Yeah. And here's what happened to Fulmer. He got so exasperated as on the coaching on the field. He tried to do Spurrier-like things. He went for it on fourth down. He did things like that against – and he beat himself. So, yeah, absolutely. It's I do remember that. Steve had respect for Fulmer. I don't have any respect for him after what he did at Tennessee's AD.
Yeah, they had a lot of mess going on there for sure. we got another text here on the Titan MR text line. It's from Jimmy. Jimmy says, Josh Heupel's done a tremendous job taking over a mess. It was a real mess under Bush Jones.
Wow.
And Jeremy Pruitt. Well,
Jeremy
that program
awful.
went through a span where it was really bad, buddy.
Awful. Giving money in the bag, McDonald's bags, and it was just awful and nasty. And that's the thing you got to remember. Again, remember the conditions they took over in. Spurrier's took a team that almost had the death penalty, and managed to take that. And remember, they were in bad shape, couldn't play a bowl game the first year, right, Shane? Guys shouldn't play the bowl. It really killed them. Things like that. Guys, things that people do like that lasts a lifetime of school. That was an ugly time for Tennessee. I tell you, I don't think he'll ever be hired by anybody again.
Rick asked on Facebook Live, Peyton Manning never beat the Gators, did he? No. Rick, they've only beaten us. It ain't very many times Peyton never won. Peyton never won either. So he didn't even beat us when we were playing with the Redskins. So take that, Peyton. Speaking of that, buddy, you don't get to watch him and Eli, but they were outstanding last night. It was awesome. I just love their broadcast. I don't even watch the other one.
Shane, I understand how you like that. And that's showbiz. I hope that's not the way TV is going. But
no. Hey, you obviously haven't watched theirs.
I've watched it a couple of times because you told me to. I understand.
Yeah,
that.
Well, last night was nothing but X's and O's and what the quarterback should be doing, what they would be doing if they were the coach.
All right, I like that. I like that. Yeah.
I think their broadcast is far better than Aikman and Jack Buck. So.
You're not here. You are a bashing announcer. You sound like one of their fans.
No. I think Peyton and Eli's show's better.
Well, it's like comparing apples and oranges to me.
Yeah, I guess so. Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice of dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. All right, buddy. Before we get you out of here, again, you mentioned some of the keys to your game. How big of a game in your mind is this for the Florida Gator football program and Billy Napier?
On a scale of 10, it's about a 9.5.
Yeah.
Because it's so important to see now, after we saw the adjustments, what you see they can do. Shane, if you line up right and execute, you can sack people. You can make plays. It sounds basic. Probably unfair to Austin Armstrong, but the fact is they just, they got to get the basics right, not beat themselves. Get a good quarter, all the basics. It's, I say, really important because it represents the fact that Billy knows how to coach a team. He can overcome mistakes. He can fix things. That tells us they have a chance to be decent this year and meet the projection the Shane Matthews make of 7 or 8 wins. It's still pretty high right now. It's a pretty tough target. I do think in my heart, based on my eyes, I haven't studied the film, and I need to know more about Tennessee. I think Florida can win this football game. If they do, the ship is righted, and now things are different.
Yep, there's no question. You win this game, you're going to run off a bunch of wins in a row. I just personally don't think Tennessee is that much better than us, or maybe I don't even know if they're better than us. I think too many people are living on what they did last year.
I think you're right.
As you said, you heard last night, their receiving core is not what it was last year. They got some good running backs.
Yeah.
The quarterback is not what they had last year. So we just have to play sound football and stop the run.
Yeah.
We stop the run, we win the football game. I firmly believe.
Yeah, I agree. Now I heard you say earlier you were getting a Tennessee person on later in the week, right?
Well, I'm trying to get Bob Kessling, their voice of Tennessee football.
Yeah, all right.
But I have other people that I have some text out to.
All right. I was going to recommend you call John and get him on.
No, I definitely can. I just sometimes try to get their voice of the football program on and go from there. I remember, was it John Ward, the old voice of the balls?
Touchdown, Tennessee. I love those guys, man. That was a great time when you listen on radio. It's all the guy kind. Sean is developing a style I like. The even flow, how he broadcasts. I guess his is touchdown Gators, right? Isn't that what he says?
You know what?
That's
I
what he
should know
says.
this, shouldn't I? Yeah,
Touchdown
Gators.
Gators, and then he has a little pause in there. It'll never be oh my, or something like that.
Well, and in fairness, that's Dick Enberg's.
I know
saying.
that. I know I've talked to him about it, how he used it and ripped it off, and Enbergs gave him permission. But I don't know if he needs a signature call. His simplicity is, I think you guys are getting cohesion together as a team, and I think he feels comfortable with you and how you handled all the other color, and you feel pretty good about how he's delivering the game and getting the facts, the score, that all the important stuff in for a listener. Because I got to have down and distance. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear how you went out with a coach last Thursday night and talked for 2 hours and drank beer. I don't care about that. So I really don't. I get tired of guys telling stories in the middle of the game. I want to watch the game. So I love the basics. I love the flow. You guys are getting really good at it. I can't wait to listen to your broadcast in the press box when I'm there on Saturday.
Well, how do you do that? You have to bring those headsets you got there, buddy? Is that what you do?
I got my little white head earplugs.
Oh, okay.
I plug it into my phone, and
that's what I was going to ask you real quick. So y'all got media row up there, all lined up all along those different seats, different levels.
Right.
If nobody has like earbuds or whatever in, they're just watching the game.
Yeah.
As a regular fan.
I got a TV up here in front of you.
But there's no sound coming out.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have to sync it up because you have to get your delays right. But anyway, even on 7-second delay, I'll watch the game up here and listen 7-second delay to you guys. I
don't know why they can't sync that up.
I don't know, Shane. There's some technical reason, but it's really great. I mean, it's love to hear games on radio and love to be in a press box. By the way, is a special thing. It is really almost like the Sistine Chapel to some guys. And back in my day, when you could get in the press box and you could cover the game, that was big time. I've loved that for almost 55 years. I love being back in the press box on Saturday. I love hearing Shane and Sean doing the game. It's going to be a special day, and I'm just going to be excited to be there.
Yep, should be a lot of fun. And Andy says Sean is just warming up. Mick was in the same boat until the Doring TD, which actually was 30 years ago yesterday.
No kidding.
When Doring got a touchdown against.
It was 30. Yes, it was. You're right. I saw.
I'll never forget where I was, buddy. That was before all the games were on TV. I was sitting in a hotel in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I forgot, it was probably some Notre Dame game on in the hotel. And I don't know who we were playing the next day, but that's before you had cell phones or anything. Mm-hmm. And whatever game of the week was on, they'd do those updates, and they kept doing these updates. Florida throws another interception. Now they're losing to Kentucky. They kept coming on. We threw 7 interceptions. People forget we threw 7 interceptions in that game.
How can you win a football game? You lose 7 interceptions.
Yeah, somehow. Well, it was
so what did you think? You heard? Yeah, they weren't very good those days, but anyway, and it was amazing that they got 7 picks. But what did you hear when you saw the highlight? Did you hear Mick's voice?
No. That they didn't have that. There's no way they could have done those feeds to ABC or whatever in New York back in those days. So, anyway, buddy, before we let you out of here, who do you got on the program tonight?
Let's see, what's tonight? Oh, I'm not on tonight. Brendan's on. Brendan's doing the show. He'll have. I have a special night tonight, which I'll tell you about. And Brendan has. Let's see. Coach Lauren Meadows. Let me see his schedule. Let's see. He's got. I should know better. When I don't do the show, I don't think about it. It's our usual Tuesday night lineup. Is what it is. Okay, tune it in and support him tonight.
Good stuff as always, buddy.
David Whitley. David Whitley. I just remember David Whitley.
Let everybody know how they can chime in and get Gator Bait information real quick.
Thank you for that. And by the way, we're really proud. We just hit 100,000 views on YouTube, which is due to Brendan. And Gator Bait, I still think it's the best place to get your information and your writing. and for the fan spirit and the guys. And you can go to gatorbaitmedia.com, sign up, pick a plan. There's all kinds of them, and join us and see why people go there. It's the go-to place for Gator sports and information, I think, in all the broadcasts all night, all the media, all the story, the writing. I'll get it right. I'm half asleep right now. All right, so
go back to sleep, buddy. Go back to sleep.
All right, Shane, thank you.
That's the great Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Going to take a quick timeout. We come back. We're going to be joined by Minde O'Sullivan talking about her foundation, her big party that's going to be held on September 29th in Touchdown Terrace. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
All Gator fans, Meldon Law is giving away a chance to experience the Florida-Georgia game like never before. 2-night stay at the Hilton on the River, dinner at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, 2 premium tickets to the game, and a football signed by Coach Billy Napier, and much more. Go to the Meldon Law Facebook page and look for the VIP experience for 2. Good luck and go Gators!
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Silverback Concrete is a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete, you stand on it, we stand by it. We're going to head back to the Titan MR hotline, and we're joined by Minde O'Sullivan, First Lady of Gator Baseball, joining us, talking about the Rex and Brody Foundation. Good morning, Minde. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well,
Good.
we appreciate you coming on. And obviously, I think this is going into year 2 of the foundation that you started in honor of your 2 boys. And you're going to have a big event at the Touchdown Terrace, September 29th. Tell everybody all about it.
Yep. So, yes, we started the foundation. They passed away on May 4th, 2021. And so pretty much within days after them passing, I was kind of in a fog and didn't really know what to do. And I had 2 choices to like roll over and give up, or, fight and make them proud. And so I started the foundation pretty much immediately. So we raised money and put a lot of it right back straight into this sports community. So we do an annual fundraiser, and this is it. So this is our one ask, unless we make, people make small donations throughout the year. It's at Touchdown Terrace. It's on September 29th. You can go to rexandbrody.com. There's corporate sponsorship levels and personal sponsorship levels, or you could just buy individual tickets. It's catered by Blue Water Bay. And we're going to have, I did the menu yesterday. It's amazing food. It's a full bar. We have a live band, we have live entertainment, and we have silent and live auctions. So it's a really fun night.
That must be the Gators are away. Is that when we play at Kentucky?
Yep, we play Kentucky away the next morning. So last year we did it in the spring, and we did it on a Thursday night. So this year we moved it to the fall. It was hectic. There's so many events in the spring, and with baseball and everything else, that we thought that this would be a better option, more
We'll
convenient.
talk a little bit about where the funds go, because I do remember, I want to say it was while y'all were out at the College World Series, they were having a youth baseball tournament out in Omaha at the same
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
And the Rex and Brody Foundation, y'all sponsored a team, I believe, from California.
Yep. Yep. So we have sponsored, so we're kind of, we have put a lot of money back in that. So we sponsored a team from California. So how that became about is that my boys, there's a tournament in Cooperstown, New York every year for 12-year-olds. And you go to the Baseball Hall of Fame and you stay in barracks and with your teammates, and there's 100 teams from around the country. So Rex and Brody got to go in 2019, and they said, you know, they lived the most amazing life ever and swore that that was their best week ever of their life. So in 2022 was Brody's year to go as a 12-year-old. So the foundation sponsored a team to go out there, and they trade pins. And so we have the Rex and Brody Foundation pins, and we got so much amazing feedback and support from a team being out there. And the team finished in I think, third or something out of 100 and some teams. And so there was a couple people from California that reached out to me and said, listen, we are so inspired by your story and your ability to give back to the youth. We would like to put a team together of, you know, I wouldn't say, you know, a team that would otherwise not be able to travel to Omaha and play 13U. So we jumped on board and did that. And it just happened to be that it was the same time we were out there. So I was able to go watch a bunch of their games, and just the feedback that we got and the appreciation from all the parents and, you know, the boys, that they would have never been able to experience that before. And so it was a very proud moment for me. And, you know, my parents were out there too. And so it was really a nice moment. So
it was very cool. Very cool.
And I have promised to do a Cooperstown team for every single year. So you get grandfathered in every year. And so we took a team this year, and I just filled out the paperwork to take a team next year. And so we're going to keep on doing that.
Yeah, that Cooperstown event is a very special time for these young kids to go play baseball. It's a great event for sure. Also, not only do you sponsor teams with the proceeds, but you also give back to the community. As we know in Alachua County, whether it's baseball, football, whatever sport it is, the facilities stink. Let's be honest, they're terrible.
Yes.
So you're able to help with some upgrades at different youth ballparks, high school ballparks. Talk about that.
Okay, so this within the last 18 months, we have donated money to redo all the turf in the Newberry High School batting cages, and we did a huge building out in Jonesville with the help of Gator Ball and the Crawford family. Now if you drive out into Jonesville Park, you can see it. It's massive, and it will be it's still in the works, but it will be either 4 batting cages or 4 bullpens, and it's covered with electricity, and it will have fans, and it has sides. So even when it's raining, they'll still be able to use these cages. We have made a huge donation to Buchholz High School, because they're in the process of redoing their baseball field. And, you know, that's dear and near to my heart, because that's where Rex would have been going right now. What else? Let me think what else. Hold on. Cage. Diamond Sports Park. So Diamond is where all the middle school softball and baseball schools are played, all the teams. So we just finished and completed batting cages there. And there was no batting cages out there. There was no practice area. So we joined forces, and, you know, it's owned by Alachua County School Board, and just completed those a couple months ago. Yeah,
that's good stuff. We got a text here on the Titan Mark text line from Joe. He says, Mindy, was it your idea to print up the shirt that Sully can count to 6 in Omaha?
Okay, so that was a joint venture. So he was really, really upset about that decision and couldn't believe that, you know, he's been coaching all these years and that happened. So we kind of joked about it, that night, but he was not in a joking mood. So my dad ended up finding a mall 30 minutes away and called the person and said, let's make light of this. And the guy, the printer of the t-shirt company, was like, if you're here in 20 minutes, I will print you a shirt. So it was awesome. And the next day, Sully went to get dressed and he's like, I mean, is this the right thing to do? And I'm like, yes, this is the right thing to do. So we actually have that shirt. And I think I'm going to do a basket at a silent auction and have him sign it. And that will be part of the auction item.
Speaking of the auction, I was going to ask you, like, are y'all having a live auction or is it all silent auction? And I think, a lot of places they let, when they have like silent auctions, I think they need to have one where, I know Sully won't go for it, but have some person who bids on it, let them call like the pitches for like the first inning against in the opening series against somebody.
Right. Or a scrimmage. There has to be a scrimmage or something. That would be a really awesome thing. Yeah. Sully, would you let them do that?
No, he won't.
As an auction item.
Steve will not call one pitch.
No, as an auction item, that can be that. They could call the pitches for the first inning.
That's right. So what good stuff do you know what's going to be live auction or silent auction right now that some people may want to bid on?
Auction, so we have an artist that actually comes. It's super, super cool. And he does 4 paintings live with strobe lights and music, and he does the painting upside down. So you have no idea what he's doing. And then at the very end, he spins it around, and last year he did Spurrier, and then Spurrier signed it, and we auction it off right there immediately. So I'm not going to tell the 4 pictures that he's doing this year, but, so he does 4 of those live on stage, and then we auction them off immediately. We have a house in Mexico, a trip to Mexico that's being auctioned off, a trip to like Highlands, North Carolina, that's going to be auctioned off. We have one of Rex's very, very dear friends, actually both the boys, they played football, baseball, basketball together growing up, is very into collecting and designing gloves, baseball gloves. And he got with Wilson and did a custom glove in honor of the boys. And so that will be an auction item. And then silent auctions, we have a couple different baskets, and we have another custom painting. It's kind of an abstract painting, and someone gets to help you get to help design it and pick out the colors to your house and everything like that. So it's a really, really good event. And then, we'll keep adding on to it, but
we got a Facebook Live here from Joseph, brought to you by Meldon Law. He says, I love what the foundation is doing. Youth sports is something that just doesn't get the funding it deserves in most counties anymore. How far out do you guys try to help? Gainesville only? Statewide? Is there a way to reach out to you for help in surrounding counties?
Yes. So we have a Rex and Brody Facebook page, and we have a Rex and Brody Foundation Instagram page. So, and if you go to rexandbrody.com, you can email me directly and I'll answer it, or you can message me on Facebook through the foundation. So to answer your question, we've sponsored, we make donations and, probably $500, $600 sponsorships throughout all of Alachua County. We've gone all the way up to Lake Butler, Lake City, South Georgia. We did one in Miami for underprivileged children on their team. So little tiny sponsorships like that. We've probably done 10 to 12 this year. We sponsored a girls basketball team, middle school basketball team from Lake Butler this year, and paid for all their jerseys and their fees to play. We did a donation to a team out in Arizona I just think that when people reach out and we, vet and make sure that it's all going to the right places, I want to help as many children as possible as I can. So, the more money we get, the more money we get to put back into youth sports. So
no doubt about it. We just got a text on here on the Titan Mar text line. It wants to know how the listeners of my program can help. Can they just make donations online? Because we have people all around the world, believe it or not, that watch this show for some reason. I don't know. They must be bored to death. But obviously, the Gator Nation is very big. So how can someone who can't make the event or just periodically throughout the year? How can they help out this foundation?
Okay, so if you go to rexandbrody.com, at the very top, the website is very user friendly because I'm not the most technically savvy person in the world. So there is a little block that says donate, and then the next to it is, become a sponsor for the event. So if you go to donate, there's a Venmo link that you can donate, or there is a link that Tidely, who does that you can just, donate as much as you want. It can be as little. I mean, every dollar helps at this point. And so if you go to rexandbrody.com, then it's pretty easy to maneuver. But
all right. So the last thing here before we let you go, you've already mentioned it. Obviously, how late can someone get a ticket? Can they buy a ticket at the door? Let them know one more time if they want to come to the event, September 29th. Go get your stuff online,
okay.
correct?
Yes. Yes. Yep. So you can go. I think we kept the sponsorship levels open until probably, I'd say probably Thursday morning, just because we do a whole program and we do a lot of promoting of the sponsorship. So we have to get everyone's logo printed and all that by then. So we start working on that. You can go and buy an individual ticket online probably up until, the day of the event. So we'll figure that out, but it's not, but I think the main thing is the sponsorships need to close earlier, because we do promote it on our Facebook page, our website. I didn't mention, we do a baseball tournament here locally in May, and we have over 100 teams that come, and we, have put banners up everywhere and really try to advertise the people that have helped support us throughout the year. So the sponsorships will close in a couple of days, but the regular tickets will be open for a while.
Awesome. Minde, we appreciate your time. Unfortunately, I can't make the event. I'll have to be in Kentucky calling the game. So I know it's going to be an outstanding event, and we appreciate you coming on the program, talking about it, and tell Sully we said hello.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much for having me.
That's Minde O'Sullivan from the Rex and Brody Foundation. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. I'm going to take our final time out. We'll come back, wrap up today's program. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Attention all Gator fans, Meldon Law is giving away a chance to experience the Florida-Georgia game like never before. 2-night stay at the Hilton on the River, dinner at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, 2 premium tickets to the game, and a football signed by Coach Billy Napier, and much more. Go to the Meldon Law Facebook page and look for the VIP experience for 2. Good luck and go Gators!
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. I want to thank Buddy Martin and Minde O'Sullivan for joining us. I tell you what, she is a strong woman, took a tragedy and making good out of it. If you don't know the story, check it out. But if you can, go help out the Rex and Brody Foundation. Let's get to this day in sports, which is brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. This day in 2011 at the U.S. Open men's tennis, which we just witnessed, Novak Djokovic wins his first U.S. title, beat Rafael Nadal. Boy, he's a good player. That's This Day in Sports, brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Let's see. Looks like we're going to have Bob Kessling tomorrow, hopefully, on the program. He's the voice of the Tennessee Vols, and we'll go from there. So, you missed it last night. Aaron Rodgers he's done for the year. It looks like torn Achilles. I thought it was his ankle or knee initially, especially when they did X-ray. You don't do X-rays for an Achilles; they should know right away. So it's a shame, boy. The New York Jet fan base can't catch a break. They win the football game, so we'll see if Zach Wilson has improved any over this year, learning from Aaron Rodgers. Andy says, Shane, they are saying Rodgers' injury was turf related. How different is it playing on turf? It's terrible. I absolutely hate artificial turf. I know it's changed. It's gotten better over the years. I don't know why any program or team that financially can handle natural grass does not have it. I know why all these high schools in the state of Texas, some of them in Mississippi, are going to it because it just costs money to cut grass, fertilize it, and all that. And your overhead, it's just more cost efficient to go to the turf, but it is absolutely terrible. Anybody that likes to play on turf, they're lying to you. But it's expensive to keep up natural grass. But I prefer grass any day of the year in any sport. So anyway, that's that. It's sad. Dan says Rodgers got $9 million per play this year. Yeah, it stinks, man. Because I tell you what, the Jets defense is nasty. It is nasty, and I would have loved to see. Now, I will say this. The first couple pass plays, Aaron, there were three-step timing. He was in the shotgun, but it was three-step timing because his tackles were cutting. Ball's got to come out. Aaron he tried to make a play and got twisted up, and in hindsight, he should have just thrown it away because you can't expect your guys in three-step timing for you to be able to scramble because they're going to cut to try to get the hands down of the defender. Ball's got to come out. So a lot of that is on Aaron. But yeah, the turf is terrible. Can't stand it. Everybody's talking about Batesy's paintings. Yeah, Batesy. I don't know if Mindy has any paintings up of his for sale or not. But again, if you can go check out rexandbrodyfoundation.com. I think that, or is it .org? I should know that. But go to their page, see how you can help out. But I think it's cool that they're helping baseball teams all around the country. Yeah, and if you're a listener out there and you're involved in youth sports, shoot them a letter. Let them know what your program needs. Maybe they can help you out. So tomorrow we'll have JC and hopefully Bob Kessling, the voice of the Tennessee Vols, and we'll keep talking about this big game in the Swamp Saturday night, 7:00. I like Florida's chances. I'm not a believer in Tennessee. They're going to have to prove it to me. So we'll see. I mean, Tennessee's defense is not as good as Utah's. I can promise you that. Nor says Neon Deion Sanders, also Coach Prime, lost his ability to run after suffering turf toe. That was the end of his playing. Yeah, I think he had to have his toes amputated, believe it or not. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's program. I want to thank all our guests again, Minde O'Sullivan and Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. I hope you folks have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.